We're doing a little bit of impromptu Q&A here at tonight. I ended my Kirby stream maybe like 10-15 minutes earlier because there really wasn't enough time to jump into the next major stage of World 3. And I said, well, let's just hang out for a little bit. So what do you guys want to talk about? Jim says, why don't I stream the daily wrap recording? Because the daily wrap is for the on-demand viewers. It's not for live stream viewers. Live stream viewers were here and know what happened today. That's why, you know, there's no point in streaming a daily wrap. For those who were watching on-demand videos and maybe didn't have a chance to attend the streams or didn't watch all the videos yet, it summarizes, you know, what happened during the day. That's the point. That's the target audience for it. So that's why I don't stream it. No, I don't practice meditation to reduce stress. Shout out to Excelon13, who just took me $14 and says, let's get some glasses. Well, thank you, Excelon14. I appreciate that. I don't know why there was no pop-up. That's weird. There should have been a pop-up for your tip because it is selected, but there was none. I don't know. Thank you, Excelon. Let me get you on the leaderboard. Actually, to the biggest tip of the night. It's Excelon13. My bad. I put 14. And that will get us to the Gunner Glasses goal, so thank you for that. I appreciate that. I'll toss them on quickly here for the impromptu Q&A. Am I going to play the Hogwarts Legacy game? I don't know. It looks good. It definitely looks good to me. And the more information we get this year will help determine my choice. But right now, yes, it is looking pretty good, and I'm interested in it. How many night streams will I be away this week? Likely at least 2. I'm thinking about the amount of time it's going to take. Because, all right, allow me to very briefly explain. Because I own my own business, I have to provide a tremendous amount of information to my tax guy so he can provide that information to the IRS. We're talking every single piece of income that I made in the last year, okay? And normally that would be easy to track because most of my income ends up going to my bank account, except that I had identity theft last year and a bunch of my personal accounts got closed and shut down. And that information isn't readily available anymore in a file that I can readily access. So I have to go through all these other hoops to try to get all that information together. It also includes literally everything I spend. Every dollar that I spend that has anything to do with the business has to be accounted for. So that's a lot of work, okay? And even though some people think, oh, well, you're paying a guy to do your taxes. I'm paying him to file the taxes. I provide the information, and then he files. I'm not paying him to gather the information. That literally would be another job, and I'd probably be paying the guy 5 times more money. So it's going to take me at least a couple of night streams to do that. I know it. Usually I would take 1 day to do it, but this year I haven't had a chance to do any work on it. Why? Because think of how busy we've been. There have been nonstop new releases since early February. In early February, I didn't even have all the documents I needed to do my taxes yet because they weren't available. They don't get made available till like the end of February. So literally, I just didn't have any time or chance to do it. So it is what it is. I can't make that a better situation. It's going to be at least 2 night streams this week that I'm not going to be able to stream. Maybe more, and we'll see what happens. Okay? Monica Levi says, are you okay with us helping you on Elden Ring as you go along, like letting you know where items or bosses are to take away from your own experience? Here's the thing, all right? If I'm playing Elden Ring and you guys have noticed I've missed something critically important, I want to know, all right? I want to get my money's worth out of the game. I want to be sure I'm not missing out on anything, like a major side quest line, a major boss, stuff like that, or a critical item needed for success in the game or upgrade. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, perfect example, last stream someone was like, you missed a level 9 smithing stone that was sitting in front of the tower in Caelid. Holy shit, I did? That would be so useful. I went and found it. So that's a perfect example. An example of a way to not do it would be, Phil, coming up, there's 3 major bosses, and here's how you get to them immediately. Like, no, let me, you know what I mean? Like, let me explore, let me find stuff. Now, at the tail end of the last stream, I had just hit a new area, and we were getting to the end of the stream. And people wanted to see me fight this particular boss before the end of the stream, so they gave me a hint on how to find it. As I was trying to find it, I had technical difficulties. My stream crashed, basically, and I couldn't get the video feed to work. I lost 15 minutes resetting, so now we're in a desperate rush, and people are like, okay, here's how you get to the boss so you can get it by the end of the stream. That was okay. That was extenuating circumstances. If we had had no problems or whatever, that would have been different. Might have been like, okay, let me explore. But there was a situation where people absolutely wanted to see the boss by the end, it just got messed up because of the stupid technical difficulties. All right. So in general, major spoilers, no, and directly telling me how to do things, or you know what I mean? Oh, here's the boss. Well, here's how you beat him. You just got to hit him in the weak point here and here. No, that's ridiculous. If I'm fighting the boss for an hour and I can't beat him, and then I ask for help, that's different. And no, I don't want my hand completely guided. For example, last stream, I explored for myself, right? People were like, oh, go to Volcano Manor. I was like, fine, now I'm going to explore. No, you should have been doing this. No, I'll do what I want. The game's open world. I'll wander wherever I want. People were yelling at me for not doing a quest line. I'm like, I don't have to do exactly what you're telling me to do. The whole point of the game is to explore and do things whatever you want. So, in that regard, you know, please understand, you can't dictate the whole playthrough. At the very same time, I do appreciate helpful tips for things I've missed or things that we want to do in a timely manner. Fair enough? Okay. Why are the tips goals the same on the first and second stream? Number one, I'm not expecting to hit the tips goal on every stream. And number two, I find that support on streams is not indicative of the length of the stream, but of the content put out on said stream. And I'll give you an example. There were times when I was doing new game releases, and then on night streams, I was doing ongoing chill playthroughs. The actual chill playthrough streams would hit the tips goals, while the main playthrough streams didn't. It had nothing to do with the length of the stream at all. It's not like, oh, because you're streaming a certain amount of hours, you're going to make a certain amount of money. That's not true at all. It has to do with the people who are attending the streams, liking the particular games, and supporting said playthroughs. That's why. It doesn't really matter. The numbers are arbitrary. It doesn't matter if I say, oh, my goal for tonight is 50, 100, 150, 200, 700, 20,000. It really doesn't matter. People will contribute if they want because they like the content. You know what I'm saying? I just want to reward you guys at certain tiers for and thank you for supporting the streams. But I think what it is people hyper focus on those goals because they're idiots who just like to focus on money rather than the quality of the streams, and it doesn't make any sense to do that. Pinocchio, I have no idea what the worst game I ever played was. Likely it would be I'm not even kidding, nothing that I played in the modern era. Probably one of the worst games I ever played would have been like way back when on the NES, some crappy rental that I tried to play and it was unplayable at the time. But that's so long ago, you know. I'd have to really rack. I've played so many games over the last 13 years as a content creator, I wouldn't be able to pull one out of my butt and answer that question. Okay? Why do daily goals not carry over to each? These are all questions that have been answered a million times. Can you guys like come up with something new that has nothing to do with money so that you can stop talking about this shit? This is not a Q&A session about fucking money. No one cares. I've already answered these a million times. Go back and watch the old videos and stop harassing me about bullshit. Jim says, did you know you gained about 8,000 subs since moving to YouTube a year ago? That's really good growth for your first year. It is. Especially because this was a channel that was a stagnant channel. This was a channel that was just an archive. I had abandoned uploading original content to it. It was all just re-uploads of streams. Nothing, you know, special. And then coming back to this channel and trying to reinvigorate an audience to realize that everything was going to be here, you know, it's pretty good. I was hoping to hit 200,000 subscribers by my birthday. Obviously, I'm not doing that now. But it is what it is, right? We're close, and I'm happy with the growth that we did get. So, why don't I do more multiplayer content with members? Because there's nothing multiplayer that I'm playing. If there were a ton of multiplayer games that I was playing right now and enjoying, I was like, okay, let's do it. There's nothing right now. Right? There's old school Street Fighter. We already experimented with that. The one night I experimented, one person could join the lobby and one person couldn't. The game doesn't work properly online, so it would be pretty irresponsible of me to try to plan events with my viewers around that. I'm not playing any more multiplayer games, and I have no desire to, so I'm not going to specifically design multiplayer events around things that I'm not playing. It doesn't make sense. And by the way, there's no demand for it either. Just being honest, the vast majority of my viewers know that I'm not a multiplayer gamer very often, and I don't do that, those kind of events. They're not looking for it. The only people who are looking to do that are basically people looking to derail my content. Oh, I just want an opportunity. Phil will open the opportunity for me to come and ruin it for him. That's it. I'm not stupid, so I'm not going to waste my time with it. Jungle Love says, will you play old Game Pass games you already tried, like I Am Fish for the B-Day stream? We already talked about this on the pre-stream today. I'll summarize. There's 2 ideas for my birthday marathon. Idea number 1, we do Game Pass stuff that we've already previously played. Yes, I Am Fish would be in there. Likely there'd be things like One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, maybe some Serious Sam. What was it, Serious Sam 4 that I'm playing, I think? Maybe some Quake. You know, things that I've already started, and just playing another hour of them would be pretty fun to make some advancement. All right. The other idea is, rather than doing Game Pass stuff that's completely unrelated, play all the current playthroughs I'm doing. Play about an hour and a half of Elden Ring. Switch over. Play an hour and a half of Kirby. Switch over. Do an hour and a half of Skyrim. And then end the stream with an hour and a half of Ghostwire Tokyo. That way, even though I'm doing a special holiday-themed event, I'm not derailing from my normal content, and it's not putting us behind. Right now, I am so behind on the current games I'm playing. Think about this. I didn't play WWE. I didn't play Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy. Coming up this week, we got Lego Star Wars. There's so many games that came out in 2 months. There was no way I could play them all because the games were too long. Horizon was a 40-hour playthrough. Elden Ring is 70 hours, and I'm halfway through it. So with games this ridiculously fucking long, how am I supposed to be juggling everything? I can't. That's why I'm behind on everything. So, for me, I see both sides. Some people might want just pure variety and silliness and say, let's just do 4 random Game Pass games for the marathon. While others might be like, no, listen, you're already too backlogged. We want progress. Keep going. Play the games you've been playing and get a little bit more progress in each game. That would work too. I don't know what we're going to do. I have no idea. Okay. I've heard good things about this game, Tunic. Yeah, I heard that Tunic is a combination of, like, Link to the Past, Zelda Link to the Past with, like, challenging gameplay. That sounds interesting to me, but, again, I just don't have time to try new games right now. Kevin Bernstein did a super chat, says, I understand I like multiplayer games. Good for you. Then you should play them. Then you should really play them. Go ahead and play them. You don't have to play them with me. I don't play them. I mostly play single-player games. Very few exceptions to that, really. What do we have for dinner today? Tuna casserole. And it was good. See you later, Tyrone. Have a good night. Jim says, will we get to vote on cuisine for birthday feasting with the king? Good question, and likely the answer is yes. And likely what will happen is the few days before the event, you guys will get to vote on my channel page like usual on the community tab. What would the options be? That's a good question. What I likely do is we'd use some of the previous options. For example, Vietnamese food would probably be a really good option because Vietnamese food out here is great. I've never tried a banh mi sandwich, but I've had their pho or however you pronounce it. And it's really good. What were the other ones? Last time around, it was Vietnamese food. It was Mexican food. What was the third option that we had on the poll last time? And why can't I remember it right now? I'm having like a total brain fart about that because it was so long ago. Was it Thai food? Thai food. All right, so we'll do Vietnamese, Thai, and we got to think of a third option. And I'm trying to think like what kind of options do we have out here? We have good. There's a few good barbecue places like Slow Roast Barbecue. See, I would say American, but American is so generic. It could be anything. It could be a freaking burger place. It could be an American-style restaurant. Like, there's a place out here, it's called Claim Jumper, and it's all American comfort food. Maybe you do comfort food. Put that on the thing. You know what I mean? We already did Indian, so that's going to be out. Can't do that. I'm trying to think of the different kinds of food that are around here that's good that I could order readily and easily. That's the catch, is because you might think, well, why don't you do this kind or this kind? We don't have it all. I would love to put Italian food on this. I can't. There's no good Italian places out here. Zero. So there's nowhere to order from. Yes, there will be cake eating on the birthday. There should be. Yes, my wife said she wants to make me a cake for my birthday. Um, Lord Jellyfish says, "Do you have a Hardee's in your area?" No, there's no Hardee's out here. There's a Carl's Jr., but it's like 40 minutes away. And when I first moved here, I went there, and the food was absolutely terrible, and they screwed up the order, and I never went back. But that was 8 years ago, you know. What's hilarious is we got someone here asking me what's my favorite mobile game. Obviously, what they're trying to do is piss me off with the stupid, detractor meme. I actually admitted this last year. I'll say it again. I actually do play some mobile games. I do. All right? The ones that I play are free to play or incredibly inexpensive, like you spend $1 here or there to make progress. Okay? I do not play the mobile game bullshit that these idiots talk about on the internet. It's not true. But if I were to actually reveal to you guys the games that I played, you know exactly what would happen. People would immediately go out there and try to fucking create negative shit about it. They try to find my account and harass the makers of the game and do all kinds of dumb shit. Like they do right now for a game I don't even fucking play, right? So that's why I would never tell you guys about that stuff. I'm not stupid. Ever since the original bullshit started years ago with the negative memes about mobile games, literally I will never tell you anything. I just won't. It's a waste of everyone's time. I can't have fun and share that kind of stuff with you guys anymore because of idiots. Let me put it to you this way. Years and years ago, I remember the first mobile game I ever talked to you guys about. It was a Marvel game. It was a card game. What was it called? I can't even remember what it was called. It was like Marvel Infinity Cards or something like that. And what it was these really cool pieces of Marvel artwork from over the years. Real comic book artists had drawn these. And it was a card game where the cards would fight. You have all these different stats, it's the speed character versus the power character and stuff like that. This is many, many years ago, like 10 years ago, okay, or more. And I started playing the game and I liked it. And there was this promotion where if you convinced other people to create an account and log in, and they created an account and logged in, and then they recommended people, it was basically like this recommendation chain where you would be rewarded in game with a free card. By the end of me doing it, I had just casually on like Twitter suggested the game and put a link out, my link to it. I got I'm not even kidding, 200 cards. It's all the same card, but I got 200 of them because I was so popular back in the day, that people would just do it on a whim because I suggested. I said, I'm playing this game, I like it. So that being said, what's hilarious about that is, at that point, did it ever become a fucking crazy ass conspiracy theory? Did it become a big thing? No. It was no one even talked about it. When it came to my videos and content, no one cared. No one cared, gave a shit. It was only until much later, years later, that the toxicity sunk in with me and my content, my online identity, where people wanted to completely spin everything into a toxic, nonsensical conspiracy theory mess. And now I know I can't even tell you, and I can't even give you an idea of the games that I would play online, because idiots would try to figure out all my personal information and harass people online in regards to it. It's stupidity, okay? So, no, I'm not going to talk about mobile games. I'm not going to tell you about games that I play or anything like that, because it would be a complete waste of everyone's time, and it would just be fucking, you know what I mean? It would just be a big mess for everybody. I should go back to Warframe. I literally played Warframe an hour, right? It was at the very launch of PlayStation 4, and I was trying to play all the games that were available at the launch of PS4, and uniquely, for the first time ever with the launch of a console, there was a bunch of games that were free because they were free-to-play games, and that was one of them, where it's free-to-play, but of course there's tons of microtransactions and things to support the game long-term. I played it for an hour. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't really like it. I never went back to it, and since then people were like, oh, you should play Warframe. I don't even know what it is. I don't care about it. It's probably one of those games that's a time sink. I don't have enough time to play the games I want to play. How am I going to go back and play a game that's a time sink, right? It's probably not going to ever happen. Okay, anything else? Another couple quick questions, if we can squeeze them in. But if not, we're going to adjourn because now it's already past 9:30. I went a little late. Basic Burger, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. A guy who hit me with false copyright strikes in 2015. You're asking me about what happened to him. What do you... I don't know. How the fuck would I know? Someone who hit me with false copyright strikes in 2015. What happened with you and him? Nothing. Nothing. He hit me with false copyright strikes, and that was the end of it. He's an asshole. And you don't even have a question. Barbecue would be a good option. I think so. And there's, I would say there's two options for good barbecue food around here, that I could probably order, that I think would work. Yeah. So, all right. So maybe the options could be Thai food, Vietnamese food, and maybe some barbecue. Maybe. Sounds good. What do I think of the Elden Ring game now that I played it for 70 hours? I like it. Let me put it this way. I like it a lot. It's not the best game I've ever played. It has flaws and it has room for improvement. It's a damn good outing and a good attempt to make the FromSoft style Dark Souls formula open world, combining all the elements and things from all the previous games they've put out. It's good. It's just not... It definitely should have been a little better, I feel. Like, I actually feel there's a few things in the game that definitely could have been better from the get-go. And maybe they just had to cut some corners because it was open world and there's so much insane amount of content in the game. But you've heard most of those criticisms during my streams. I'm open and honest about that game. I like it, but man, I wish they didn't reuse the same assets over and over. Too many repeated enemies, bosses, and things. There's a lot of frustrations and shortcomings, for sure. Okay. Last chance for a question. We'll see if anyone asks a good one. If not, we're going to adjourn for the night. Ghostwire's great. Ghostwire, I feel, is one of the most original games I've played in a long time. But for some odd reason, 2 streams in, I'm having a hard time retaining more than 200 viewers. I don't know why. The game's entertaining. It's interesting. There's side stories that are neat that aren't even tied in with the main plot, but they're interesting. The main plot's interesting. There's new enemies. There's new abilities I unlocked today. There was cool exploration. It's everything you would want from an original game. And people, it's not Elden Ring, so I don't like it. Meh. I don't know what to do. It's good. So I can't make people be not stupid, I guess. I don't know what else to say. No, I'm never playing anything related to Kingdom Hearts 3 ever again. I didn't like the base game. There's no way I would go back to it. Sorry, there's a couple idiots I'm just banning. Banning. Morons. Thoughts on Monster Hunter? I could totally understand why people out there like Monster Hunter. Personally, I don't like it because I think it's too repetitive and boring and too much of a grindy time consumption. I tried it twice and neither time did my viewing audience like it and I didn't see anything special about it. Slayer, we finished with Kirby. And only had maybe like 5 extra minutes, and I was like, well, we don't have time for a new stage. So I told everyone I would do like 15-20 minutes of Q&A, which is what we're finishing up right now. We did good with Kirby. We finished all of World 2, all the way to the end, all the content and everything, and we got a sneak peek at World 3, and that's what we're going to pick up on Wednesday night. Yes, Wednesday night is the next Kirby stream. All right, guys. I think we will adjourn. Thanks. Quick impromptu Q&A session was fun. Except for the idiots, but what are you going to do? And until next time, which is like tomorrow morning, right? All right.